Hello and welcome back to Car Rental University. I am your host, Alex Withrow. Today we're going to talk about, can co-hosting work? Does it work for others? You basically put a car on auto drive and not really have to worry about it. Before I get into that, click below, grab the 5 things you must do before starting a car rental business. Lots of great information in there. That also includes the car share growth guide, and that gives you a city-by-city breakdown of which car share platforms are strongest in your area. Check it out. So as you can tell, we are in a beautiful new filming studio. This is the permanent and final set change that I'm gonna have. Thank you for bearing with me over the last 6 months. I've been living out of a suitcase and continuing to run a YouTube channel, but thank you so much for bearing with me. This is the what I had envisioned all along. We are going to be filming from this space for the indefinite future. I will improve the sound quality shortly, I promise. Working on that one thing at a time. As you can notice as well, we've got a new editor and things are clicking over here at Car Rental University. Very exciting. So let's talk about co-hosting today. Many times, I actually had 2 clients recently reach out to me, or one client asked me, he said, I've got this car, I want to do car sharing. I live, he lives about 35 minutes outside of New York City. He wasn't getting any bookings out there, obviously, because it's too far outside the city. But, he was in a situation where he wanted to rent the car. Obviously, he had just purchased it for car sharing, and wanted to ask me, how do I deal with this? And I said, look, he joined our private chat on Telegram, which you should check out. It's in the description down below. Lots of great guys on there, lots of great information. So he asked I said, just ask somebody on our private chat if they would be willing to do a co-hosting agreement with you so that you can really, work with somebody to manage your car while they do pretty much, everything. He found someone, they got it worked out. So now that car is in Yonkers, New York, just north of New York City. And it's working out well for him. So overall, the question is, can co-hosting work out? This is becoming more and more popular where someone, has 1 or 2 cars and they don't really want to deal with the operations of it themselves, but they will put it into someone else's larger fleet who's an operator and already has, operations rolling. They have economies of scale rolling. Managing 1 or 2 new cars is not a big deal for them. Now, many times I get the question, well, how does this agreement work? What exactly is the breakdown, or what are the details of this arrangement? So typically I recommend starting with like a 70-30 split. In that scenario, you have, one person, managing the car. Now in my client's case, basically what they did was they said, okay, after the first $100, we will start the 70-30 split because he wants to pay for the insurance right off the top. That's fine. First fruits, that's basically like a first fruit escrow. So, the first fruits, the monthly revenue goes to the insurance, no big deal. And then from there, the custodian of the car asked me, well, he said, how do we deal with like my time to take the car over to deal with repairs? How do we deal with that? I said, well, look, your portion of the split covers you for your time in dealing with the car. However, if the car needs new tires, brakes, maintenance, cleaning, car wash, whatever, you will take that receipt and bill it back to the owner. So the owner does have to pay for those things, obviously. But in terms of how you are compensated for your time, that is included in the split of whatever you guys agree upon, right? So that's basically how it works in a nutshell. It doesn't have to be too complicated. And look, I think this type of agreement makes perfect sense for a lot of people who maybe have up to 5 cars. They don't really want to, are not, experienced in operations. They don't want to deal with operations. And that is, I think it's a good arrangement for some people. I mean, if you have the ability and maybe good credit or whatever to get many cars, it is tighter right now, obviously, but if you have the ability with cash or credit to get many cars and you don't want to deal with the operations, I mean, it does make sense to stick those cars with another host who has a scaled operation, who's experienced in operations, so that you don't have to learn all of that. And this is something you can calibrate to your lifestyle. For my taste personally, I'm a much better strategist at operations than I am like an on-ground operator. I've done on-ground operations. It wasn't really my thing. Nowadays, I am a operations strategist. So for me, I much prefer that, and that's a much better fit for me. So this is just kind of the way it goes. You can calibrate this industry and this agreement to whatever you want for yourself. If you are someone who maybe has a couple of cars and you want to put them in a larger fleet's operations, reach out to me. You can download the PDF, shoot me an email, and I can help you connect with somebody. But overall, I do think this co-hosting makes a lot of sense for a lot of people. It doesn't have to be too complicated. Obviously, when you put together an agreement with an operator, get it all down in writing, make sure there's no questions, everything is above board, etc. So that's really important. But overall, I think this can be a really great arrangement for some people, especially if you're someone who lives maybe 30 or 40 minutes outside of a major city, but you have a few cars that are just sitting around. You want to do car sharing with them. Maybe you don't want to deal with rideshare drivers because that's a complex type thing. It's a whole other thing, as is the insurance. But you just want to put the car in another car fleet. I mean, that makes total sense. So I do think it makes a lot of sense for a lot of people, and I think that it can really work out for the right individual, for the right profile and lifestyle. But always get the agreement and the custodial agreement down in writing. I think, it's very important that both parties are clear on expectations and especially how money is paid out. All that to say, before I go, click below, grab the 5 things you must do before starting a car rental business. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. If you think this is useful content, please give me a subscribe, give me a like, all of the above. For that, I will catch you in the next episode. Thank you.